My guest today is Alexa West. She's been self-publishing her books on Amazon since November of 2017. She publishes in one of the most competitive niches there is, yet she's found a way to make an extremely profitable self-publishing business. Even though she calls publications like The Lonely Planet and National Geographic her main competitors, she's been able to build a self-publishing business that has given her the freedom and the joy to live all over the world and do work she absolutely loves. Her books are not just sold on Amazon, but they're also found in bookstores around the world. She was recently just in Cancun for the Self-Publishers Cancun Mastermind a few months ago, and now she's coming from beautiful Bali, where she's going to sit down and talk about what she's done to build the successful self-publishing business she has and give you some of her best tips.
Hey everyone, Emeka here for my Self-Publishing Blueprint, and as you heard, today I'm sitting down with travel extraordinaire Alexa West, and she's going to talk all about her books, her publishing strategies, and just what the self-publishing business has done for her life. So Alexa, so great to see you again.
Hey, good to see you again. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Let's talk about that. The last time we were together, it was also the first time we actually met because we either missed each other when I was in Bali, where you are right now. Anyway, we were both at the Self-Publishers Cancun Mastermind a few months ago. And how was that from your end? I remember, I think we actually did a YouTube live while we were on the boat that Saturday. Yeah, I haven't actually watched that, but it's on the channel if you guys want to go find it. But how was the event for you? And, now that you've had a few months to decompress?
Yeah, I went into the event being like, this isn't for me. I'm not going to learn anything because the way I self-publish is so different than the rest of you guys. But actually, the conference changed everything. I walked in with one business and I left with another, and it's for the better.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. So cool. And then, so you've been, I think, to Cuba after that? And what were some of the other stops that you did until you reached Bali?
So we left from Cancun and went straight to Cuba, which I'm writing a travel guide for Cuba.
Awesome.
And from Cuba, we went to Taiwan, but only for a 4-hour layover. So I could leave the airport and go to the best 7-Eleven in Taiwan.
Really?
That was really fun. Yeah, it's amazing.
What made that 7-Eleven so good?
It's huge. They have draft beer. They have cold brew on tap. It's amazing. I made a video about it too. It'll be out soon.
Really? Okay.
And then back to Bali.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And I guess it's early morning for you. It's late evening for me right now, but we're making this work. But like I was telling you in Cancun, I'm excited about sitting down and kind of picking your brain and hearing your story, because when I first heard about it, and then I had a chance to talk to you, we didn't really have a chance to talk about your said story, but I was just so intrigued with how you've been publishing your books, because it was really the same or similar way that I found my first success with my first few books, was sticking to exactly what you've been doing. So why don't we first start off and talk a bit about how you got into publishing, why you got into publishing, and what was the biggest challenge that you faced in some of your earlier days?
Okay. So, I think that a lot of people that I know that are in our publishing circle, they get in it chasing money. I love money. That's great. But I got in it a different way. I really was solving a problem that I was having for myself, and that is traveling alone as a woman. I had been traveling the world. It's been 10 years altogether. And so 2 years ago, so 7-8 years, I had been traveling the world solo as a woman. And the other travel guides just weren't working for me. I was, once in a while picking up a Lonely Planet, but I found those to be encyclopedias. They weren't working for me. National Geographic doesn't focus on being a woman at all. So my problem was things like being robbed in Cambodia. Nobody told me that I needed to watch my purse in Cambodia. Men don't have purses. Travel guides aren't written for women that have purses.
Very interesting. I did not know any of this. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so these books weren't working for me, and I was finding like just being as a woman traveling the world, it was hard, and I was like, oh, can't really swear, should I? Shouldn't really swear in this.
No. We swear on this channel. It's
And I
okay.
was like, fuck this.
Yeah, maybe not like some certain brothers we both know, but you know, hey, you got to drop an F-bomb or whatever, drop it, because that's who we are.
Cool. So, none of these travel guides were written for women, were written for me. So I was like, I'm going to write my own. So the first guide that I ever wrote was the Solo Girls Travel Guide for Bangkok. And I was living in this like little house in the jungle of Chiang Mai, like totally isolated for 3 months. I made the outline. I wrote the book. I watched all of your videos. This is how I first found you.
Oh, really?
That how to format for like
Yes.
creative space was like, I watched that so many times. That's how I found you. So yeah, then I published my first book, which was really hard. Took a long time the first time. And then it did well. Am I still answering the question right? Or am I just?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay.
You're totally talking about how you like. These are all the processes everyone else starts with. So go for it.
Okay. I really didn't know if anyone was going to read that book. Like, I had no idea about like Amazon marketing services. I had no idea how to do any of that. I just was like, here's something that I want to write that I think is going to solve a problem. It's in a niche. Like, women are traveling the world. It's like so many more women. I have some stats. Can I read them real quick?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
So, according to Treksoft.com, the search for solo female travel between 2016 and 2017 grew by 52%. On Booking.com, between 2015 and 2017, solo female travel bookings grew by 72%. So I had this problem, and then there was also this like growing niche that was unspoken to, and I knew that if I wrote a book, someone was going to read it. I wasn't sure how many people, but that book started selling. Not a lot. I don't even remember how many copies, but it started selling to strangers, and that was like the biggest thing for me. So then I wrote the next one, which was the Solo Girls Travel Guide Thailand, and that took off. I don't have numbers, but that one just took off. Like, I think the first book I was making probably a couple hundred a month, and then when the Thailand one came out, it was close to $1,000 a month. I was like, whoa, this is like a thing. Like, people are reading this, people are buying this. So I kept going. Awesome. Here we are.
I absolutely love that. So you were writing a book because you were a traveler. So you understood the market, right?
I am my audience. Yeah.
Right. You are your audience. 2, you did some research. And so you knew the trend was turning. You knew people were looking for this, not necessarily on Amazon yet, but you knew this activity was happening, right? 3, you wrote a book, you took a gamble, you wrote it, edited it, probably wasn't your best work, right? But you put it out there and you saw people buying it. So that proved you were correct on your first 2 theories. And then you just repeat that and you've built an entire business just based on that, right?
Yeah, right.
I love that. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Okay. In the early days, what was the biggest challenge, your first obstacle, the first thing that maybe kind of shook your foundation a little bit, that put that thought, is this worth it? Or can I do this?
Honestly, it was really just getting the first 2 books out there, like learning like how to create a cover, how to format for Kindle, how to upload, everything. There's so many little pieces that go together that I'm like, this isn't sustainable. There's no way that I'm going to be able to repeat this over and over. But it really is like, now I could do it with my eyes closed. Like, it's just the swiftest process. And you just have to believe that like, it's just like anything else that you learn, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was hard, just trying to understand how to, because everyone has an idea. We all have ideas, but can you put that idea into practice? Can you do it well? Can you do it swiftly? And that was where I was like getting hung up. I was like, this is really hard. I was writing everything myself. I was formatting everything myself. It didn't cross my mind that I can be hiring a team of people to do this for me as well. Like I learned it myself, but now, I've figured it out just create a process for it. So it's just solving your little problems
Mhm.
to make it, to get to the end result.
Absolutely love that. I love that. Hey, and I guess that was when you put out your second book, would you kind of consider that your first big break, your first um, confirmation that, hey, I got something here, it's working? What was the next big success after that really kind of flipped the switch or took it to the next level for you?
Um, I put my Instagram handle in all of my books,
Okay.
and I just started having like once a week a random girl across the world write me, and then it's
Can
twice a
I
week.
interrupt just really question or a really quick question, because I know people are thinking of this. Did you use your author name, your pen name, or did you use kind of like your brand name? Which one did you use?
For Instagram,
Yeah, for Instagram inside your books.
I use my Instagram I changed it now to my
Right.
brand name.
So
Yeah.
okay.
So in the beginning, it was just kind of like my personal Instagram.
Yep.
That I had inside my books. And then I started having girls eventually every day write me. So then I started branding myself, and I changed my Instagram to Solo Girls Travel Guide. And today it's like 2 to 3 girls a day that are writing me and reaching out. And that started happening when, it's no longer like strangers or like faceless people buying my books. It's real girls coming and being like, I had this problem and your book solved this exact problem, or I didn't think I could travel to Thailand by myself and your book gave me this experience. So it was when all these girls, I get chills thinking about it, because it's just like, it's so moving to me. Like, it's not just, it's my business, but it's also like my everything. It's like my world, my heart, my soul, it's everything. And I have now all these women that I can really see like in real time that it has changed their life. And that was probably like the big thing for me. That was like, I can do this. I have to do this.
That's so cool. You're connecting, you're getting to know your audience. And that's
Yeah.
when you do that, and like we've talked about before, it changes the dynamics of how you view the business, because now it's like you understand what they need, what they want. So you're very specific about your books. So you're actually reducing the number of books you're putting out. But when you put out a book, it does a lot better.
Yes. I'm not like farming them out. Like, they're all from me. And that's a totally different thing that we can talk about, of like how to do that. But yeah, I'm not farming them out. Each of them are special. And every time I put out a book, the girls know, my readers know, some guys too that read my books, they know like, oh, here's another one. This one's going to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
They're excited about it. So that's awesome. Hey, let's talk about the whole picking one niche, one brand, serving one customer, not a whole bunch, not everybody across Amazon, but that one specific one. So why did you decide that? And did you have any challenges knowing about a lot of publishers who are watching this? They're not necessarily, well, you know the business model, right? So what challenges do you think they might face, or some advice you could give them?
Okay. So if anyone comes to me, which they have, and are like, I want to do a travel guide series too, I'm always like, do you though? Because, if I had told someone when
Yeah.
I had this idea that, hey, I'm going to write travel guides, I'm going to get into the travel niche, people would be like, you're crazy. Like, you have huge players like National Geographic and Lonely Planet are major multi-million-dollar businesses. There's no way that like little old me can compete. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I am. And not only like am I competing, like I'm giving them a run for their money. So I use KDP Spy. Do you use KDP Spy ever?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Can you explain what it is?
So KDP Spy is a Google plugin that when you go to the Amazon page, you can type in whatever keyword you're searching for, and it's going to pull up all the information on Amazon and just basically save you a lot of time to look at their sales rank, number of reviews, how much per month it's bringing in. There's a whole bunch of more data, but
so basically it ranks, from the number one player down to whatever. And
right.
It shows you like across, or like how well these are doing. If you put in the Solo Girls Travel Guide Thailand, Oh, no. You put in travel guide Thailand and you do KDP Spy, and same for Cambodia, Vietnam, any book that I have, I'm always in the top 5. There's some that, like Thailand, I'm in the top 5 twice for 2 of my books, and
Wow.
it's amongst Lonely Planet and the other big ones. Every book that I have, top 5, next to Lonely Planet, sometimes above Lonely Planet. So that's something that I would have thought could not be possible whatsoever. But I found, that travel niche is such a hard hitter, but there was a hole in that niche. So here's an example that I also give. There's a travel guide company that I saw recently that came out, and they are a luxury travel guide, and it's like silky, glossy, like stuff, and it's like yachts and da 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 da. That travel guide series is going to fail very quickly, and I'm sure it's already failing because they didn't think about like who's your audience. Your audience is like people that are going on yachts. They're not reading a travel guide. Like they're having people hire for them. Like no one's going to read your stupid book because it's a stupid book and you haven't really done the research.
Right.
So here's this big market, this big travel niche, and just because you want to write something doesn't mean it's going to do well. Like you really have to find where is the gap in the market? Where is the audience? Is there a portion of the audience that's not being served or spoken to? So when you're looking at whatever niche that you want to get into, look at it carefully, but look at it from a different angle, because sometimes there is like, a back door that nobody's thought about. So I don't know what niches that could be. You know what I mean?
No, it's 100% correct. When you focus on one customer versus going broad, so to speak, and publishing books all over the place, would you say there's more or less challenges? Like, would it be harder or easier long term after you got the initial learning curve, few months out of the way? Like I say, it gets a lot easier when you're focusing on one. Everything changes. But what's your take on that?
I don't know. I can only really speak for mine because, like I said, I wasn't in the publishing game before my publishing game. So I haven't thought about it except for much of like exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, I think what's made this easier is that I can like relate to the audience that I'm going after, so I know exactly what they need. So for me, I'm only focusing on that. I'm only focusing on that, on what they need, because it's what I need. Right. And I think that the ability to relate to your audience rather than just like guessing what they need is a real, advantage. It's a real advantage because you can think about things that maybe other companies or other businesses wouldn't think about targeting or speaking to.
So let's talk about what platforms you're using right now. Where are you selling your books? So Amazon, are you selling it anywhere else in terms of the e-commerce space?
I use Amazon and I use Ingram Spark. And Ingram Spark has been fantastic with that expanded distribution.
Expanded distribution.
Yeah, with expanded distribution, Ingram Spark has really, really been great for me. And that's how I've been getting my books outside of Amazon, like being sold like in bookstores or on bookstores, with bookstores.
Whatever they're doing. I think in bookstores would be the appropriate grammar. Let's talk about that, because this was the one thing that really is like, man, because I used to talk with, Mariana, my wife, when we were walking through Costco and looking at video game guides. She's like, are any of yours here? I'm like, no, I don't know. They're not. But I always thought that'd be the coolest thing in the world to see one of my books in there. Yeah. Let's talk about that story. So how did that happen? What was your reaction like?
So it was this summer, and I was with a friend, and we Googled just my travel guides just to see, like, let's see if they're sold anywhere. Because it was my goal of 2019 to get one of my books sold in Barnes & Noble. Just one. I was like, I'm going to get just one. And then we did this Google search and we found out that on Barnes & Noble, they sell all of my books, but selectively. Like there's a couple of books that I have kind of like in the travel niche on the side that they haven't chosen. So it showed me that they selectively chose my travel guide series. And once we found out they sell it in Barnes & Noble, we're like, where else do they sell it? the equivalent of Barnes and Noble, and basically like every Western country around the world, they stock my books. But
Awesome.
here's the thing is that I've had readers be like, hey, I found your book in Barnes and Noble, but because I don't live in America, I still haven't gone. I don't know if they're sold in stores regularly, but I would love to go to Barnes and Noble and find my book. That'll be amazing.
So, okay, all of you watching this in the US, go pick up a copy of her book.
Go see if you can find it in the store.
Send it to her on Instagram. We'll put her Instagram handle down below. I'd love to see this. This would be so cool if we could get some people to go in there. I'm trying to think. I think I'll be back in the States early January. I'll go to the Barnes and Noble in McAllen and go look. That would be so cool.
I don't know if they're in every store.
Hey, who knows?
But I know that they're in some. But just the fact that my goal was to get one, I didn't even have to ask them. And I believe this is via Ingram Spark. This is what did it. In the fact that they have all of them, it's amazing. And in other countries, and it's amazing. It's a dream come true.
It is. And we don't know the ins and outs of how these sorts work, but I know they will stock a book for two reasons. One, it just catches the person's eye who's ordering the books. And so they'll buy a couple copies to see if it sells. And if it does, they'll start experimenting with it. Or two, if locations just keep getting that, hey, do you have this book? Or do you have this book? Right. And they can also tell that when people are looking for it online in a store, but it's not carried. So it just shows that you're doing what you're doing and it's working.
Yeah. Aside from that, the other cool thing is that I have met girls. Like one time I sat next to this girl at a bar in Thailand, an outside bar, barefoot kind of bar. And she and I chatted over beers for like 2 hours. She kept mentioning her travel guide. And I was like, eventually I was like, who wrote your travel guide? She's like, some girl. I was like, that's me. She's like, no, it's not. It can't be. I'm like, that's me. That's my book. She pulls it out of her bag. And like, just, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. And I have girls sending me pictures being like, hey, I saw this girl at like a bar in Cambodia or like at a hostel or whatever. And they'll take pictures of women traveling with my books around the world. And it is the coolest thing to see that like in real life. So
that
cool.
is so cool. That is so cool. Congratulations again. That's a massive, massive win. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's, as we wrap things up here, what would be some tips, advice, whatever you want to call it, for men, women, whomever, who want to kind of follow your footsteps, not necessarily in the travel thing, but just they have ideas, they want to start writing, or they want to start publishing books. What are some tips you could give them that would kind of lessen the pain, lessen the learning curve, so to speak?
Find a mentor. For me, it was you. And
me?
don't get too cocky.
Lexa, I would never be like that. Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah. And I learned everything from you. Like, you don't have to learn everything on your own anymore. There's like the self-publishing like crew circle that we've all created here. There's so many resources. There's so many people who are willing to help you. So lean on each other in that. But also, on the other hand, don't look to other people to create your ideas, because I know that a lot of people don't believe this, but I believe that competition kills creativity. And I only involve myself for what do you call the like nuts and bolts of everything?
The nuts and bolts of everything. I
lean on you guys for that. Yeah, but for the creative part, I lean on myself and my own research.
Right.
Yeah, because like I said, if I had asked you guys, like, is the travel niche a good idea? People are like, no, probably not. But if you can see a problem that is big enough, you can support it with research or trends. Give it a shot. But don't half-ass it. Don't be like, I'm just gonna see if this book does well. Oh, it didn't. But it's like, did you use every resource and tool? Did you put it on AMS? Did you try to create a brand out of it? Because creating a brand out of the Solo Girls Travel Guide is a massive tool. Like I have AMS services, but I also have branding. you know, so don't half-ass it. If you have an idea that you really think is going to work, try it. Really try it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So cool. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking some time to chat and kind of share your story. And hopefully, I've put the pictures up, but I would love to see some of those pictures of people with your book. That would be really cool. But all her info is going to be down below. You know, you can go check out her books. But I think what you're doing is so cool because you literally get to pick the next destination on the world, go there, write a book, and have that book pay for your expenses, go to the next place. And that's like, literally, that's your life right now.
Yeah, that is my
That
life.
is so cool. So cool.
I have a few more things I want to say if it's okay.
Yeah, go for it. Of course.
Oh, so I wanted to talk about the fact that when I first started writing these travel guides, I was writing them for, like, if I lived in Thailand, I'm going to write a book for Thailand. If I lived in Cambodia, I'm going to write a book for Cambodia.
Mhm.
But next year for 2020, I'm flipping it upside down because so instead of writing a book just from my experience, now I'm actually using the numbers and being like, okay, Thailand does well, but what country is really hungry for a travel guide? So I used KDP Spy to find like the countries that are doing the best for travel guides, but also kind of have like a hole in the competition.
Right.
So now I've created like a list of countries I'm going to. So I'm doing Japan and Singapore and Italy and Spain and Greece. And I'm doing it in a more strategic way. So I'm really excited to see what happens with those numbers. I think it's gonna be like it's gonna be the Solar Girls Travel Guide like 2.0. Like it's gonna be a whole different game.
Alexa, that is so cool. That's the one thing, keyword research, when I'm talking to students myself, it's to this day, it's something I still don't like doing. I think it's just stupid, but it's a necessity until your reader, your audience tells you, no, I want to book on this, or the data tells you that. And that's exactly what you're doing. Instead of looking at Amazon, you're looking at, it's like, okay, what's the data? What do my readers want around the world? Because what happens off Amazon, it happens off Amazon first, then it starts flooding into Amazon, but then it becomes a bit too crowded. So you're thinking like a businesswoman. You're marketing yourself and you're figuring it out. And I just love it because that's the fun stuff of, like, that's the fun type of research, because you're literally looking at the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, numbers don't lie.
Right? Oh, that's so cool. Sorry, I feel like I went off on a tangent there, but that's stuff I get really excited about talking about for business.
Great. And then I have one more thing that I think.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So another way that I know that these travel guides need to be written is from my own perspective as a woman traveler who's traveling alone, in that I've always said that I want to go to India. But as a woman, going to India is a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
It's a different culture that, you know, women will struggle with. And I always say, like, if my book were already written for India, I would take that book right now and I'd go, but it's not. I wish that, like, future me could, like, write it and send it to me now. And that's how I know I need to write it, if that makes sense. Like,
that's good. That's deep.
I feel the need for it. So that's how I know that I need to keep going with these.
How are we going to get you to India?
Oh, sure. Not
Suraj.
yet. Maybe. I know, Suraj, but I can't have him go with me everywhere. Like,
I know. India, that would be cool. But that's definitely a place I'd even, if I heard you were going, I'd be like, well, who are you going with? We're going with a group, right? We're not writing a book by ourselves in India right now.
But I feel like if I could do it by myself. So that'll be 2021. Let's say that 2021.
Maybe it'll be the self-publishers Indian mastermind.
Oh, it's a great idea.
Who knows? All right. Hey, thanks so much for taking some time once again. All of her info is going to be down below. So if you have any questions or you want to reach out to her, whatever, all of her info is down below. But thanks everyone for watching this. Please, if you want to see more interviews like this, what topics do you want to hear? What type of guests would you like to see on the channel? Hit subscribe, comment, and we'll catch you guys next time.